on the other side of the garden.
So let's start over here.
These
the
are
back
all
end.
These are all potted plants. Soil. So peppers. Pepper. So they're not really doing as great as some of the hydroponics are, but we decided, you know, to try them side by side and see what happened. Obviously, I'm siding with more of the hydroponic side because they grow considerably faster.
Now we have the gravel channel here. So back here we have a pond liner. In that pond liner is some gravel that we rescued from the alley behind us. And it keeps a constant level of moisture for all of these plants. For a while we had some of these plants in the pond liner. All those ones in the bucket, the fabric buckets, did not have any. We noticed a definite difference in the moisture level of the soil. So all of these have a constant moisture level that they bring up from the ground. Definite, you know, bottom watering. And it's making a huge difference. From here, we've got a bucket of composted chicken poop. We get this from our neighbor. He has chickens. That stuff has made an incredible difference. We inoculate a lot of the dirt plants with that chicken stuff, and it definitely helps with the growth of all of it.
We actually have air moving through here, and it's cooled via evaporative air through a cooler that we bought a little after we put this up, this greenhouse. See the register there we installed.
Keeps your circulating.
And it just pushes the cool air from about this level, goes back up, and goes through the vents, the windows that are vented.
And then we have a thermostat here. We keep it pretty high because, you know, this is basically the height of where our plants are going to be. So this determines when that comes on and off.
And it's a thermostat. It's a line voltage thermostat, so it's 120 volts that comes into this, goes back and tells it, the cooler, when to turn on and off. So right now we have it set to 78 roughly degrees Fahrenheit based off of this guy. So we don't have to turn it on and off or worry about any of that. That just kind of just comes on based off of temperature. Let's take a little walk here. Cooler we mentioned is this guy here. It's evaporative cooler. I don't know if everybody in every part of the world will understand what this is, but where the climate is very dry, these things work great. If your climate is naturally humid, it's not going to work at all. Don't even bother. You're going to have to find other ways to cool your greenhouse. But this is how we do it here. And we actually use them for cooling our houses most of the time. And they're very, very, very efficient. So for instance, like today, if today was the high, and I think today the high was like right
91.
around 90, well, at the point we were out there, 91, but I think 95, 100 degrees, but we can keep this thing maintained at less than 75 degrees easily. And this, like we said, it has a thermostat which tells this when to come on and off. So we don't want it running all the time because we don't want it being, you know, super cold all the time and just inefficient. So we'll have that thermostat tell this thing when to come on, and we'll notice it comes on in the morning for about like a minute. As it gets warmer and warmer throughout the day, we'll notice it comes on for about 10 minutes, and then in the thick of the heat we'll notice it comes on for about half an hour, 45 minutes. But it still maintains that cool temperature, and that's at the highest part of the greenhouse. So meanwhile, all these plants are still doing very, very, very well. I mean, they're not at 75 degrees. They're probably more like 72, 70 degrees. But yeah, we bought this because, well, we needed it, because without it, we noticed when we put the thermometer in there, you know, at any one point in time, we could see excess of 100 degrees, which is not good for plants.
It got up to 110 last time I saw it, and then it shorted out our thermometer.
Yeah, it was just hot, just hot.
It was hot.
So for our dry temperatures, this works great. I don't know where you live, but if you can utilize this, this is a very resourceful way of cooling your greenhouse.
And to be honest, this one wasn't even really that expensive. It only cost us about $300.
Yeah.
Which in the grand scheme of things, you know, based on how much money we're saving on the stuff we're growing, it's a pretty small investment.
Yeah, so all you got basically is 120 volts coming in.
Which we ran an extension cord.
Which is an extension cord off our house. And this takes care of, again, the pumps in there. Feeding the cooler and the pump in here. So there's a fan motor in here which blows the cold air, and then there's a pump that pumps water through these guys here.
Yeah, the little hay filtration, whatever coolers use.
Basically it just drips down, and through the process of evaporation cools the air. It's a very, very, very simple process. So that's what we got going on here.
And then the yellow cord, we run through it, and that's what powers the pumps in the greenhouse.
In the greenhouse. Separate process.
Yep. Off the same extension cord.
And overall, I think this guy here runs at approximately, I think, starting current is about 8 amps, but it runs at roughly about like 4. And the pump, the water pump is only like under an amp. It's ridiculous. It's not even worth considering. But if you figure it's 0.7 amps at max, I think it's actually more like 0.3.
So the drain on the electric
is more like 7 overall balance between the starting current 8 or I don't know. Anyway,
basically the drain on the electric bill is minimal.
Yeah, it's not anything you're really gonna see, especially if you put a thermostat in line with it.
Absolutely.
Which, if you need help, I can find you help you find out how to find that thermostat, how to hook it up. It's not rocket science. It's very, very simple. If you're scared of electricity, I'm an electrician, but however, it's
easy.
I could show anybody how to do that. It's very, 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 very easy. It's not like you have to know capacitors and diodes and no, you just wire nut, bam, done. It's as long as you don't hook up the wrong ones, and I'll show you which ones not to and which ones to. Very, very easy.
I think the biggest issue we had was trying to figure out the connector, running the hose to the evaporative cooler.
Yeah.
That was a fun
I'm not a plumber,
day at Lowe's.
And this was kind of an adventure.
So right here.
Trying to figure this out. But
that little brass connector right there.
So this is actually a something that you'd use for your kitchen fitting, but we made it work. We hooked up a regular hose to it, and bam, done.
Took a little figuring out.
We can, if anybody wants answers to these, we can help you find that. We can, if you need a video on it, we can do that. It's not that hard. We can do that too. So for me, it wasn't really any kind of thing to think about, but if anybody needs help, we can do it.
Yep.